Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Another challenge for the Green Hornet. His aide, Cato, and their rolling arsenal, the Black Beauty. On police records, a wanted criminal.
It's
The Green
Jumbo.
Hornet, really
New Orleans'
Reed,
own
owner-publisher
Al
of
Hurt
the
on
Daily
the
Sentinel.
trumpet.
His dual identity
This is
known
like,
only to his secretary and to the district attorney. And now,
early to
protect the
mid-60s,
rights and lives of innocent citizens,
This is like
rides
55,
the Green
56,
Hornet.
57, 58 years old. Go, Al, go. New Orleans' own Al Hurt on the trumpet. Staying relevant when that rock and roll thing was happening. Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Thanks for joining us on what? July 18th? August 18th? We're almost in October, and it is a ridiculous summer-like afternoon, summer-like day in New Orleans, the entire Gulf Coast region. Low 90s, 93 degrees. Feels like $103 right now. You know what that means, huh? Hydration. Lots of agua. H2O. That stuff's tasty on a summer day in New Orleans. The best sip of water ever. When you wake up in the middle of the night and hit the jug out the refrigerator, that cold water at 3 a.m., that first sip is incredible. It's like a Krispy Kreme donut. You're like, there's no better thing. And then that second sip's sort of mediocre, and the third when you're like, yeah, it's just water. Just getting hydrated. Like the Krispy Kreme donut. That second when you're like, and the third when you're like, I'm getting sick. Yeah, you right. No, some summertime heat. All kidding aside, stay hydrated out there, especially if you're doing the old manual labor and that type of stuff. A Monday afternoon, the coffee just don't taste as good. The beans don't go down as good after a Saints loss. Hello? Hello? Is Jimmy home? Hi, Mrs. Smith. Can Jimmy come out and play? No, I guess the coffee doesn't taste as good. The Erstas don't go down as good. That po' boy ain't as nice. The red beans on a Monday. That was a slugfest. Old school NFL 3 yards and a cloud of dust type stuff. Defensive minded for a good 3 quarters. And then I guess an Ingram fumble. Ingram was running hard. I liked having Ingram out there. He was exactly what the doctor ordered in some situations. Obviously, he wants the fumble back. That, the brawl. After that, it pretty much went all Tampa's way. Bret Martel will join us in the 5 o'clock power hour. Not a sports talk show. You got lots of options for that. Lots of options for that. We'll touch on it for a few minutes. We always kind of give a macro view of it. What I just said is about as deep as we're going to get. I'm not into talking about, the 75th dude on the roster who's going to be part of the first cut down and, pounding on that during camp. And I don't know, years and years of loving Saints, LSU, Tulane, football, sports in general. You kind of get an idea how things go. It's hyped up. We kind of get all hooked in. I tell you, when that first preseason game comes along, my excitement level on a 1 to 10 scale is near 10, right up until kickoff. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, preseason. And then, it throttles way, way down. We're football crazy. I am too. But, I just don't break it down as much as I used to. I don't follow all the detail. Oh, no, that guy got cut. They're bringing that dude back. He'll be the 53rd man on the roster. I'll tell you about folks that are actually contributing, playing, that kind of stuff. I'll point out absurd things like Taysom Hill at quarterback and how locally, forget the fans, the media, 9 out of 10 media members just hook their wagon to Sean Payton's 110% nonsense on the Taysom Hill quarterback thing. And we want to believe it. We hope it's true. We love the storyline. It's beer man at another level, quarterback. Yeah, it's kind of the New Orleans, Louisiana thing. Logic and facts, we don't follow those things. Where's Taysom Hill now? Nowhere near the quarterback position. No, we want to buy into that stuff. And the local media wants it to be true. Sean Payton threw it out there, hook, line, and sinker. Bret Martel will join us on a Monday, a little later today, 5 o'clock power hour, like Fletcher Mackel joins us on a Friday, and we'll give you that bigger picture. Saints, I love sports. Are you kidding me? That's my bread and butter. The olden days, how I got started in this talk radio deal. LSU, Matt House's defense, LSU's D, huh? Bunch of nobodies, true freshmen playing, both tackles on the O-line, freshmen, true freshmen. It's amazing what a system, discipline, following a true plan that is consistent week in, week out. It's amazing what that'll do for you. Kelly's exactly what the doctor ordered. I don't know if he's the long-term solution. Seems to be so far. But he's exactly what the doctor ordered, taking over for the old coach, Ed Orgeron, who was all emotion, all gut feeling, logic, brain, facts, where that goes. Sometimes not the path he's going to follow. A lot of the time, not the path he's going to follow. More of a, tell you what my gut thinks, and if you don't like it, I'll punch your face in. That's kind of the Ed Orgeron mentality. Kelly's a little more thoughtful, a little more, how do we do this week in, week out? I don't want to I don't want to do things that are inconsistent, that I'm shooting from the hip, ready, fire, aim type mentality, because that's just going to stress me out, wear me out. It's about mentality and management and being a CEO, being the head of a major organization. And Kelly might be exactly what LSU needed to kind of right the ship. Hopefully it's the long-term answer as well. Bret Martel will join us in a little while. Like I said, it's not a sports talk show, and I'm bringing up Will Smith. Will Smith's killer, Cardell Hayes, is out of jail. His trial is set for next year. He is under a home confinement order, can't leave the house, has like weekly drug tests, things of that nature. That jury, non-unanimous jury, 48 states, you got to be convicted by everybody, all 12 people. You can't have a split jury. Only Oregon and Louisiana had that split jury until a Supreme Court case based out of Louisiana changed everything. So Cardell Hayes, the Joe McKnight, there's a lot of, I think it's 1,500 maybe, cases that need to be reviewed, looked at. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Yeah, you right. I hit Fausto's today for lunch. They got lunch specials Monday through Friday. They're open for dinner Monday through Saturday night. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. Really hard to beat Fausto's. Priced right, authentic, really nice staff, easy parking, conveniently located for a lot of New Orleanians. I had the only thing on the menu that's not Sicilian or Italian, and I even made it a little Sicilian and Italian. No, on Mondays, they have a red beans and rice recipe that I think are just fantastic. You get red beans and rice that are, it's like a gumbo or something. If it's too rich, too spicy, it's hard to eat a bowl, make that your main meal. Fausto's has a just really nice seasoned red beans and rice, old school recipe. Fausto grew up in the Italian part of the French Quarter 60, 70 years ago. Sorry, Faust, 60? And, Monday was wash day, red beans and rice. He grew up with that, literally, in the Italian part of the quarter where folks are speaking Italian and English. So he has a recipe that he remembers when he was a kid. which means it's a lot older than that. This thing's 70, 80, could be more than a 100-year-old red bean and rice recipe. Really good. The only thing that isn't Sicilian or Italian. All other lunch specials all week long, Sicilian and Italian, plus the full lunch menu, the dinner menu. Go check them out for dinner tonight. They open up the doors in 45 minutes. They'll go till 9 p.m. tonight. You can't go wrong. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. So good. So good. Hey, got a little trivia action for you. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa can be yours. Perfect to set her up, guys. And ladies, he wouldn't mind going to the Woodhouse Day Spa for a massage either. I'll throw out a few trivia questions in a moment. If you'd like to participate in the program, listening on the radio, watching on TV, checking us out via YouTube, Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore in Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms, with high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
This is what Drew Brees thinks about Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Actually, Brees doesn't think at all about Super Discount Store, but they do have the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law for beer, alcohol, and wine. Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Super Discount Store!
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool side. NolaAC.com, your cool side.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Jason, a.k.a. the Ragin' Cajun, a.k.a. the Man in Black, a.k.a. the Heat Magnet on a day like this. Sunny. Well, you've got some clouds blowing over, but mostly sunny. Mostly sunny. 93 degrees. Feels like $1.03. It's like summertime in New Orleans. It's like 2 months ago. Yeah, stay hydrated. Drink the agua. I got a few $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away, as promised. Who doesn't want to go to the Woodhouse Day Spa, the city's premier day spa experience? Guys, for her, it's a home run gift. And you may agree or disagree with my takes or my political ideology or whatever. Who knows? I'm not always right, that's for sure. But I'll tell you this. An unexpected gift, a gift for absolutely no reason, just out of the blue, a nice gift for her, is a grand slam home run. Unless you're a deviant and you're always in the doghouse and you're a liar and you can't be trusted, then no, she'll be like, what did he do? But you normal men, the majority of you out there that aren't deviants, that have a good relationship, that can be trusted, she will love you for it. Now, that's hard to argue with. An unexpected gift is fantastic. Plus, you're like, man, I hope she likes it. She'll love it. It's a guarantee. She wants to go to the Woodhouse Day Spa. I'll get you jump started with 50 big bucks, not $10 off, $50 at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And that can really get you going on some good stuff. Pedicure, manicure, facial, massage. 4 area locations, a 5th coming online in a couple of months. Woodhouse Day Spa flagship on Canal Street at Carrollton in Mid-City, New Orleans. They're in Metairie near North Kenner, Transcontinental at West Esplanade. They're in Slidell, I-10 at Gauze. They're in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. Coming soon, the Mandeville location of the Woodhouse Day Spa. Yeah, you right. Mandeville Woodhouse Day Spa coming your way soon. So glad someone got that Kenny Vincent trivia question from last week, Jason, although you loved hearing me butcher the song. The party's on the south side from dawn till dusk. It's south side. Blah, 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 blah. South side. Who owns the south side? Kenny Vincent. Doesn't that sound like a club owner from Metairie? Dude, I'm heading over to Kenny Vincent's, bruh.
Same Kenny from Kenny's Key West?
I don't know if it's the same Kenny from Kenny's Key West. That's an interesting point. I have no idea. Wow.
Same neighborhood, right?
He's a shark of a guy. Is he Sharky's Reef? No, I don't know. Yeah, it is same neighborhood. I don't know. Kenny's Key West. Where was Kenny's Key West? That was, I guess it was like, yeah, who knows? It might have been in the South Side location. Kenny's Key West. I think you might be onto something, Jason. I think you're right. I think when the South Side finally died down and imploded, maybe it became Kenny's Key West. Yeah, I think that's where the South Side was. I think Kenny, like 100 yards off Vets, 200 yards off Vets. Not far, a block maybe. On the Kenna side, brah, as I recall. I think that's right. I was too young for Kenny Vincent's South Side. Or I didn't wear the, bell-bottom pants with those jacked-up shoes. Didn't have the shirt that the collar went, to my shoulder blades. I'm
21st and 22nd Street.
Yep. That sounds right. Wow. Kenny's Key West. That's Kenny Vincent's Key West. Maybe we need to get 78-year-old Kenny Vincent on the pro. Kaare, I'm still running, boss. Screw you. Okay, easy, dude. Sorry. All right, a little trivia. The only quarterback, this is a pretty interesting stat. The only quarterback to beat LSU 4 times in the history of college football. The only college quarterback to beat LSU 4 times. That's what a stat. No quarterback in history has done that except this guy. History of college football. Crazy. No one answered the second largest collection of Confederacy memorabilia. I guess that's just sort of a, hey, the number one collection of Hitler memorabilia. I guess Confederacy memorabilia, not the greatest thing to own. Boy, what a great answer by GQ on the North Shore. The only quarterback to beat LSU 4 times in the history of college football. I'm just going to throw that out there. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's not. GQ from the North Shore emailed us. Corey at CoreyTalks.com. Corey at CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled Kaare. I'm not going to tell you who he said. It was a former Saints quarterback. I think the Ready, Fire, Aim coach before the draft was asked about this former Saint quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. And he guaranteed he'd go in the top 100. I guarantee you he'll go in the top 100. And the Saints had a 4th-round selection, 99th overall. This guy had it all pre-planned. Here's my draft. Here's my 8 draft choices. What if the number 1 prospect on the board's available when you pick? Nope. Going with this Grabowski. This coach was a genius. Anyway, right up there, the Sean Payton level of genius, I think, huh? Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. Too many hints. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. The only quarterback to beat LSU 4 times in the history of college football. Hey, where is the second largest collection of Confederacy memorabilia in the world? It's in a museum in New Orleans. Which museum? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa for you. And I think not only did someone answer the Kenny Vincent's question, I think someone got the Louisiana black bear as the mammal. I was pretty impressed with that. I wouldn't have guessed that. Would you have, Jason? The black bear for the mammal? I wouldn't have even gone in that direction. I would have been thinking some like exactly, or even some like some beaver, some half land, half water. It's like, what's that got to do with mammal, Corey? I'm thinking water almost, like a dummy. Anyway, I think it's a whale. It's not our black bear. No, it's a pretty good answer. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. That recall effort, a steep climb, over 53,000 signatures needed. It's 400 signatures each and every day. 400 each and every day. I think it was Eileen Carter who put it up on her Twitter page, I think on some social media, I think. If 3,600 New Orleanians would step up, 3,600, and get 15 signatures each, it's done. And that doesn't seem that tough. You know, you're like, man, 3,600 people get 15. That's hard. You got to find 3,600 volunteers that are going to go out and get 15 signatures. Just, it's not easy. The 1/3 threshold of registered voters was reduced for a population of New Orleans size with statewide legislation just a few years ago. Only 20%'s needed, and it's still 53,000 plus, and they have to be legit. So you got to get 60, 70,000. And you can go, wow, Corey, you got till February 22nd, no doubt about it. But the momentum, that fades. It's hard to keep up the momentum. The only thing that the recall, I think 2 major things, seriously, that give it hope, give it life. really three. Eileen Carter and Noonie Batiste are pretty proactive about it, and there are other people that have jumped on board. But the two major things I think are social media, where it's different than before. Social media gets out the sites where it's located, all that, sign here, sign there, 8 locations, pop-ups, all this stuff. Oh, wow, that's 2 blocks from where I live. I wouldn't have known that. It's starting in 20 minutes. It isn't like a, the old stapler with a little flyer on the telephone pole anymore. So that's huge. Social media is gigantic. And it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. Like the mayor's people are probably saying like it's going to fade away, it's going to go away. And they're right when they say that to the mayor. But they're probably indirectly just saying, can you just shut up and not do anything stupid for the next 6 months? And that is impossible. It's impossible. The mayor isn't on her own, she's not leading the ship. She's not driving the boat. She's not driving the car. She's not under her own control. She is sadly mentally weak. She's not stupid, mentally weak. Outside agitation, the recall, the criticism drives her to do things she would not maybe normally do, or exacerbates her thinking, her mentality, where hell going to New York on a junket, I'm going to Paris, that kind of thing. I don't care what they think. I'll stick it in their face. That kind of belligerent mentality that the mayor has, like I'll show them I'm the mayor, and that is sort of a blessing for recall folks, because as the momentum fades over time, she'll do something dopey or stupid or, that just agitates citizens, voters in New Orleans and gives the recall a shot in the arm. So that's one of the major pluses. 2 things that jump out at me: social media in 2022 compared to the past, lesser threshold numbers, things like that. But the mayor keeping it alive by the next junket that's obnoxious and over the top, first class airfare that's obnoxious and over the top. The mayor gives the recall hope.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
Tommy's Lock and Alarms is now hiring service and installation technicians. Great benefits, great pay, take-home vehicle. Apply today. Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, the cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Jason, a.k.a. the Raging Cajun, a.k.a. the Man in Black, a.k.a. the Heat Magnet. He's not the best damn producer in the business for nothing. He has verified that Kenny Vincent's Southside, Kenny's Key West, same owner, same location, same dude. Kenny, we love you, bro. We love Kenny Vincent. This guy's sitting at home, flipping through the channels, lanes. He's like, well, what did I do to this dude, Corey? Nothing, man. Nothing, Kenny. Exactly. Jeez. It is a Monday afternoon edition of the program. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. Insanely hot out there. Summertime heat. Low 90s feels like low 100 something, so stay hydrated. Be careful. Will Smith's killer, Cardell Hayes, is out of jail, awaiting trial next year. A retrial, a 10-2 murder verdict, no longer legal, has to be unanimous. He's not set free. There'll be a retrial. It's a year away. And he's not totally free either, but are you kidding me? Living at home with his mom, home confinement, or jail? Now, home confinement, I guarantee you get antsy after a while. But still, compared to jail, it's night and day. It's not even close. Bret Martel will join us in an hour. Tell us what happened yesterday in the Dome. Tulane 3-0 for the first time in a quarter century. First time in 25 years, the Green Waves 3-0. Yeah, you right, Willie Fritz. Great win on the road at K-State. Thanks for checking us out, by the way. Thanks for finding us on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Learn it, love it, live it. Make it one of your presets. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. You can check us out on New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 107.9 FM. 600 AM. Take the show with you on the road from Baton Rouge through the North Shore, Southern Mississippi, Southern Alabama, Panhandle of Florida. Your commute home, 600 AM picking up the program. Thank you for that. We're on TV till 5:30 all over South Louisiana. Cox Channel 4 television, Charter, Spectrum, Channel 333 television. If you subscribe to Cox TV in Louisiana, we're there. Cox Channel 4 weekdays at 4. If you subscribe to Charter, Spectrum Television in Louisiana, we're there. Channel 333 weekdays at 4. YouTube, we picked that up a couple of months ago. Check out the program live or after the fact on YouTube. On YouTube, Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground. Click to subscribe on our YouTube channel. It don't cost nothing. Hey, where's the second largest collection of Confederacy memorabilia in the world? Local museum. Which museum? Give me the answer. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa is yours. The only quarterback to beat LSU 4 times in the history of college football. Give me the answer to that. And I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa if you got the answer. 504-766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. 504-766-9480. 766-9480. You know, I like this quote. I didn't come up with it. It's just very factual. It's logical. It makes a lot of sense. When you have the law on your side, you argue the law. When you have the truth on your side, when you have facts on your side, you argue the facts. So when you have the law on your side, you argue the law. When you have the truth on your side, you argue the facts. Or you have the facts on your side, you argue the facts. When you have neither the law or the facts on your side, you pound the table. You distract, you divert. Politics are famous for this. What's going to get the folks irritated where they'll get out and vote for me? And it doesn't matter if it's real or not. Most of what politicians say, especially the stuff that gets you motivated to vote, is not real. Is not real. No, it's politics in general is a big farce, is a big lie. So right now we have this recall effort for the mayor in New Orleans, and it of course falls on political lines, but it's different in New Orleans because the political lines are all Democrat. They're all liberal. There really aren't any conservatives. It's pretty much a Democrat city. I can't think of one Republican or one conservative that has anything to do with any elected position in New Orleans city government at all. That's a major problem. I'm not pushing conservative or Republican no more than I push Democrat or liberal. You know me, I'm not a fan really of either one. I like to pick and choose the best of each. I think they're equally good, equally bad. I don't think one is better than the other, and I mean that, which I know you folks that are one or the other, you love it and find that hard to believe. But New Orleans, there is a racial split, and the mayor's pouncing on that. I mean, that's how Bill Jefferson got elected 9 times to Congress. Black people didn't run to the polls because, boy, Bill Jefferson's doing a great job for me. My life is improving, and it's so clear to see. Bill Jefferson was a criminal that set up his friends and family exclusively. It was friggin' obnoxious. And he's smart and educated and talented and is a bridge builder that could have brought people together. But, you know, he's like a Mark Morial, Edwin Edwards, Alario type. Well, I shouldn't say Alario. He doesn't have any talent. Edwin Edwards, Mark Morial, Bill Jefferson. They all could have brought people together. They all could have been winners. They chose to be losers, chose to be criminals. That was their choice, their calling. So, no, the mayor has nothing to fall on. So she's using that old plan, divide and conquer. And the white Republicans, I had the folks that started this thing. Eileen Carter, black female, New Orleanian. Noonie man Baptiste, Belden Baptiste, black man, New Orleanian. They started it. They're the first movers. No one put them up. They did it all by themselves. They're not backed financially or white Republicans push them in the direction. Do white Republicans want to see the mayor recalled? Of course. They're Republicans. Are there some white folks that want to see the mayor recalled because she's female or black? Of course. No doubt there'd be some black people that would want the mayor recalled if it was Stacey Head and she's female and white. Do those people exist? Of course. I used to go watch Stacey Head. She'd be behind like Five Happiness restaurant in Gert Town on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. with a crew of people cleaning up, black, white, cleaning up the area. And hardcore racist black folks, it's a joke. She doesn't really care. She does it all the time. Those black people are sellouts that are friends with her. I'm like, what? Supporters of her. It's crazy. So that is a major thing folks pounce on in New Orleans. The black and white thing. They love it. They don't want to see a gumbo. They like tomato or potato soup. Black and white people, there are extremes on each side that do not want to see together. The mayor pounces on that pathetic sentiment that's small but still out there and still has a pulse, sadly. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. No, the only reason that has any viability to it, the only reason the mayor can actually go there and has some hope that it might catch on, because there are enough racist white people that perpetuate that crap. Still to this day. 2022, gonna think skin color means something, not about environment or socioeconomics, none of that. It's amazing. No, I look at St. Bernard Parish now. I'm guessing at the demographics. I think St. Bernard's majority black. I think St. Bernard's still north of 50% black. I mean, white. Excuse me, majority white, north of 50% white. But pre-Katrina 20 years ago was 90% white. It's probably 50-something% white, and I don't know, maybe 20% black, 20% Latino now, because it's all socioeconomics. That's why post-Katrina, some racist clowns in St. Bernard, it on both sides. You remember New Orleans East? They want to change the demographic. Just racist crap coming out of the East. St. Bernard topped that insanity. You only can rent or lease to a relative. Only can rent or lease to a relative. Do you remember that in St. Bernard? Desperately, we got to try to keep it white because we're the same socioeconomic level as the blacks and the Latinos. St. Bernard's a blue-collar parish. Are there middle-class and rich folks there? Of course. But is it mostly blue-collar? Yes. And that was the big fear post-Katrina. We want to stay separate, but we're socioeconomically equal to the blacks and the Latinos. Geesh. No, the mayor trying to pounce on that black-white thing. And there's some hardcore black folks that have been burned so many times by racist crap from white folks in the past that they'll believe this or want to believe this, that the mayor's throwing out there, that it is some Republican white-led recall. No, thank goodness for social media. It gives the recall life. And the mayor, she'll do something that'll pump blood into that recall effort.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal: everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good, and we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. I remember it was, I think, Rolling Stone had an article on a local band here in New Orleans. They actually, it's funny. I'm knocking on this. I don't like this particular kind of music. It's just how it is. But Better Than Ezra would be like at Murphy's or Fred's Bar, and it meant a lot of girls would be there. So I remember on the payphone going, dude, Better Than Nothing's playing tonight. That's what we call them, Better Than Nothing. We were just joking around, you know. We were like rock and roll guys. We didn't really like that stuff. But I never forget Rolling Stone. I think the I guess critic or whatever, the article on the album was like, it's Better Than Ezra, period. And then what did it say? Worse than Zebra, I think was what it said. Better than Ezra, worse than Zebra. That was the line. Like, just this guy was like, it was a national article in Rolling Stone, but I think, you know, the New Orleans connection with Zebra. Anyway, I think that was a line, Jason. Maybe you can check that Rolling Stone article. Just literally the first line. Better than Ezra, period. Worse than Zebra, period. That was the line. Sorry, Randy Jackson. Dude, who's behind that door over there, Jason? Get it? What do you mean I lost all the listening audience just now by that joke? I'm going to do my Who's Behind the Door imitation of Randy Jackson and break glass. Boy, that guy, that would just hurt your voice even attempting that. Anyway, that article said, you know, I just remember those first lines from that Rolling Stone article for the rest of my life. And for whatever reason, as Buddy D would say, decades ago, just reading a Sports Illustrated article, the first line was a James Bond reference. You know, the name is Bond, James Bond. That was like the reference to this article, and they were making this quarterback out to be like that. And this is the QB that the only one I can think of that beat LSU 4 straight years, every single year. He was quarterback of this school. Anyway, I'll just never forget that Sports Illustrated article decades ago because of the James Bond reference. I guess I was a James Bond fan back then, and I remember going to those movies and liking that stuff, and I guess that stuck with me for whatever reason. Better than Ezra, worse than Zebra. Wow, that's harsh. People are harsh, huh? Oh, boy. Dude, come on over to Murphy's, man. Better than nothing's playing. It's a lot of chicks here. Okay, dude, see you in a little while. Click. Wow, the old payphone days. There were no cellular devices. When I was at Louisiana State University and Agricultural and Mechanical College in Baton Rouge, there were no cellular devices, and I was there like 85 to 91. 91, I remember I got a job in 91 right out of LSU, or maybe when I was still working at LSU. The bag phone, I mean, if I had to guess the bag phone, I'd say like 89, something like that, 90, the bag phone. And then that white Motorola brick thing with the antenna, the black rubbery antenna that was like equally as tall, that big brick Motorola phone. That thing was, I remember that was available. That was probably 91, 92. But not a single human being on LSU's campus had a cellular device in the late to early 90s because they weren't readily available to people anyway. No student was walking around with a bag phone going from class to the library, talking on the bag phone to his buddies. Yeah, you have to use the old payphone. Payphones were everywhere. I don't know if you can find a payphone now. Is there a payphone anywhere? Hey, every day we broadcast live on radio, on television, on YouTube. And we do it from the Buddy Diliberto River Cities Total Maintenance Studios. You think we're out of summer season? Go outside. Turn off your air conditioning. See how you're going to feel in an hour or two. It is summertime, July, like hot right now. 93 degrees, feels like 103. You need your air conditioning working right now, and you need it working right. River Cities Total Maintenance will take care of you. It truly is Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys. They've been at it over 40 years in South Louisiana, and they have a sterling reputation. These are the folks that have been, first off, maintaining air conditioning for me for about 10, 12, 15 years, and who about 4 years ago installed an entirely brand new system at my house. Everything brand new. Like everything from the ducts, the inside stuff in the attic, the outdoor unit, everything brand new. Now, what I love about Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys, they are honest, incapable of screwing you around. They'll only do service, repair, or replacement that is absolutely necessary, absolutely required. Incapable of screwing you around. They're air conditioning experts. It's not trial by error. Hey, let's replace that part. Oh, I didn't fix it. Let's replace that part. Oh, still didn't fix it. They diagnose it right away, and they fix it right away. So honest air conditioning experts, they know what they're doing. And they come immediately because it's 93 degrees, feels like 103. So they come right now. They know you're inconvenienced. Lastly, I love what Lucas told me about 15 years ago. Corey, we don't have any customers, only clients, a relationship for life. And it's true. Folks like you, like me, we hook up with Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys at River Cities Total Maintenance. They become our air conditioning, heating ace in the hole, and we go nowhere else forever. Want to solve your AC or heating problems? River Cities Total Maintenance. NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. That's River Cities Total Maintenance. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way next. You know, the coffee just don't go down as nice. The oysters, the po' boy sandwich, the red beans and rice. They don't go down on a Monday as good after a brutal Saints loss. 45-year-old Tom Brady, probably his last visit to the Superdome, unless some kind of playoff action pulls out a victory. Bret Martel from the Associated Press for over 25 years will join us in the 5 o'clock power hour. What's that, Blue Boy? 93.9 FM, 107.9 FM, New Orleans. Don't move. Coming right back.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
When you think of Fury's Restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris
The
Road.
lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, Super discount store in Chalmette.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yes. What's that, Jason? I don't have to do the 5 o'clock powwow. You're going to just run a Magnum PI rerun? Which episode is this? You're kidding. Season 4, episode 9? No way, dude. Wow. How can I compete with that? Season 4, episode 9, Magnum PI. This is from 1986. 1986. This is where TC, flying over the volcano in the helicopter, and Magnum with the red Ferrari, well... Yeah, you right. They've told me no Magnum PI. Corey, you have to do the 5 o'clock power hour on this Monday. I said, all right, you got it. 5 o'clock powwow on this Monday, brought to you by Latrim. And if you got a great job, just go to the website, latrim.com, and learn a little bit about this company. If we had about 10, 12, 15 Latrims, we'd be Austin or Nashville. Thank God we've got Latrim. What an incredible New Orleans born, bred, based company. A worldwide manufacturing giant. You don't get that a lot in America. And it's a New Orleans company. It's incredible. Latrim.com. Oh, yeah. And by the way, they're hiring right now. You East Bankers and West Bankers, you want to be part of something special? Latrim's hiring at their Elmwood facility. You North Shore folks, Latrim's got you covered at their Hammond facility. For a full listing of positions available, Latrim.com. Latrim spelled Laitram, Latrim.com. 5 o'clock powwow this afternoon, brought to you by Latrim. Thanks for finding us, 93.9 FM. Yeah, you're right. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Learn it, love it, live it. Lock and load that bad boy. Make it one of your presets. 93.9 FM. We're on television till 5:30. 2 hours on the radio, 4 to 6 every weekday afternoon, taking you home in style. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour radio program on the television set. We're on Cox Channel 4 all over Louisiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Tigertown, Cajun Country. Thanks for making it a habit every day. Hey, you chartered television subscribers, Spectrum, Channel 333 in Slidell, in Covington, Mandeville, yummy Trayen Country, in Hammond, in Houma, in Thibodaux, in Opelousas, all over Louisiana. Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 to 5:30. 2 big hours on YouTube. We're on YouTube. Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground. Click to subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing. Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. Yeah, you right. Check out the program at your convenience via the podcast. In a few minutes, Bret Martel will join us. Another Martel Monday. Yeah, the coffee doesn't go down as good. The oysters, the gumbo, the red beans and rice, the po' boy, whatever. On a Monday, just not as good. You can feel the vibe in New Orleans when the Saints lose, and you can feel the positive vibe when they win. Speaking of winning, Tulane's 3-0 for the first time in a quarter century. LSU picking up a nice win against an ornery Mississippi State team. Will Smith's killer, Cardell Hayes, is out of jail. The trial is set for next year. Cardell Hayes locked and loaded with, that's not a good thing to say since there's a gun murder. He is at home confinement, I should say. Can't leave the house. Cardell Hayes, though, out of jail, at home, posted bond, and the trial is set for next year. Next year. Hey, the Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. I got a few $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. The only quarterback to beat LSU 4 times in the history of college football, in the history of LSU football. Only one opposing quarterback beat LSU 4 times. Give me that quarterback's name, and I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. Now, I'll never forget the Sports Illustrated article talking about this school, this quarterback, and it started with, basically like a James Bond. The name is Bond, James Bond. That's how the article started about this kid. It had a James Bond theme to it in Sports Illustrated, talking about this QB. And yeah, this quarterback, I remember, LSU just could not beat this guy. 4 straight years he beat LSU in football. The only quarterback to beat LSU 4 times in the history of the school. In the history of the school. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa, 4 area locations. A 5th coming online soon. Mandeville, Woodhouse Day Spa, coming online soon. Hey, where's the second largest collection of Confederacy memorabilia in the world? It's at a local museum. Which museum? Happens to be the oldest museum in Louisiana, by the way. Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa is yours. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. It is definitely an uphill battle. The recall effort to recall LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell, where there would be a recall election where voters would vote to keep LaToya Cantrell in office or to remove LaToya Cantrell from office. So there are multiple steps. If there are 53,000 signatures, LaToya Cantrell isn't ousted from office. 53,000 signatures gets a recall election going. So the governor will pick a date, and there'll be a recall election where you go in and it's one choice or the other. LaToya Cantrell stays on as mayor, or you oust LaToya Cantrell. And then there'd be another special election called by the governor where qualified candidates would run for the remainder of LaToya Cantrell's term. Now, I talk about if you have the law on your side, you argue the law. If you have the facts on your side, you argue the facts. If you have neither, you pound the table, you divide and conquer. That's what LaToya Cantrell's doing right now. This, white Republican thing, making it a race thing, getting black folks, literally, to a couple of things. First off, LaToya Cantrell thinks black folks are stupid in New Orleans, thinks they can be controlled, thinks they all think alike. There's no diversity in thinking. And if that's the case, LaToya Cantrell does nothing that would be black, if that's her thinking, because she flies first class. She doesn't do anything that she thinks this dumb, simple, easy to manipulate black community in New Orleans is like. There's nothing black about LaToya Cantrell because she thinks the black community in New Orleans is stupid, easily manipulated, controlled, all the same, think the same. It's pathetic. And she's counting on that like Bill Jefferson did, like Mark Morial did, hell, even Edwin Edwards when he needed it. This black-white thing, it's the worst of the worst in politics. And I know a bunch of Black folks are listening to the show, watching the show right now, that are hardcore New Orleanians that have burned a bunch in the past. There's this white boy talking this. And I know what he's talking about. No, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Been in New Orleans over 5 decades. I know exactly how white racist people think in the outlying parishes in the state. And I'm not saying white people are racist in Louisiana, but there's a larger percentage than normal of white people that are racist in Louisiana. No doubt about that. You'd have to be foolish to think otherwise. And black people can't be racist is an insane proclamation. I'm a native New Orleanian. I see it all the time. I see black people that to this day, I get treated like crap. There are resentful black folks that this white boy, whatever their attitude is, I mean, come on. You think it's a one-way street? And I'm not trying to say I've got it as bad as black people. I'm a white male heterosexual. I know the skids are greased. I get it. I believe in white entitlement. I know that's true. I know it. And I know everybody compared to me, gay, female, and definitely black. They don't have the same opportunity, don't have the ease of navigating the world as I do. I'm not stupid or clueless to that. But that means there are no black folks that are racist. There are black folks that are infatuated with race. Every day, just everything black and white every day. That's what they embrace. They seek out other black folks that think the same way to reassure their thinking. No, and the mayor pounces on that small percentage. No different than white racist folks pounce on it with politics in the state and even nationally. Both sides do it. And it's the lowest of the low. It's the worst of the worst. It's when the facts aren't on your side. So the mayor has to inject race that Whitey's out to recall her.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris
The
Road.
lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockанdalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Now, this is just as comical as it gets. And for you folks that get upset by this stuff, you need to grow up and you need to accept reality. If you are a Republican conservative and you're going to vote for Trump and you never vote Democrat, just say that, but acknowledge that the guy you're voting for is a joker. Now, politically, he's going to vote the way you want, I guess. Conservative ideals for the most part. Quinn Hillier, a lot of conservatives would argue that. So I get that. But if I can understand that as an independent, as a conservative, can't you understand that Trump is a clown and a joker and does a lot of dopey stuff? And it's a lot more than just, I wish you wouldn't tweet as much as he does and stuff like that. It's the mentality. The latest is Trump has a tweet that shows the photo inside Westminster Abbey for the Queen's funeral and has an arrow pointing where Biden is seated, and it's like 20 rows back. And he's basically going, if I were president, I never would have been seated that far back. I mean, it is unbelievable. And people that support him will see that and think that's fine. I just want to know how you explain that to like your 8, 10, 12-year-old kid, because children are smart and they see that and they go, this 70-something-year-old man who's a billionaire, who's had financial success, who was president of the United States for 4 years, was one of the most powerful people, if not the single most powerful human being on the planet of nearly 8 billion. Did he literally tweet, look where the president's seated? If I were still president, they wouldn't have put me there? No, you would have pushed the other people out of the way and taken their seat. Vote Donald Trump all day long. I'm not telling you not to vote for the conservative guy and vote liberal or vote for Biden or like Biden or any of that. I'm not saying anything about Democrats at all. But at least acknowledge the guy that votes the way you like is a complete and utter insecure buffoon. History is just going to destroy Donald Trump. It is not going to be pretty. And here's the icing on the cake. Do you know how many people are going to come forward as time goes on that were part of Trump? I mean, I just watched something on Nixon. Some guy coming forward as part of the Nixon administration revealing some stuff and how it went down and giving new details on bigger things. I mean, every year, every decade, people are going to come forward that worked in Trump's presidency. And I'm not some genius. I took basic psych at LSU. It doesn't take a psych major, a psychology major, psychiatrist to figure this dude out. Total entitlement mentality, wealthy dude that no one tells him no or you're fired. It's just everyone around him's a yes man, kind of friendless. Who's Donald Trump's buddy? There's nobody, because his buddy's himself. And he's just a narcissistic, egomaniacal, sociopath almost. Borderline sociopath. Look where the president's seated. If I were president, I never would have been seated that far back. Are you serious? Seriously. Talking about the funeral at Westminster Abbey for the Queen's, final resting spot. By the way, why isn't Trump at Westminster Abbey? Because he wasn't invited. I mean, it's just beyond ironical. It is absolute insanity. Insanity. Now that he's got a wife and daughter, it would be insane for him to ride his motorcycle the way he used to. Bret Martel joins us. No more jumping the bridges in City Park at 90 miles an hour for you, Bret.
Yeah, it's
what a segue.
The thrill is gone as far as that's concerned. Yeah,
I remember Bret Martel when he first came into this market 25 years ago, and I was covering sports back then. And Bret would roll into the Saints or LSU, it's like a zip suit, got the leather outfit on, and the jacket with the holes where it breathes, but padding on the elbows and stuff in case he wipes out the bike. I remember those days, Bret. You used to ride the motorcycle a lot.
Yeah, I wore jeans, though. I never wore, like, the leather pants or anything.
No, I think you had the jacket with the pads, though.
Right, I still have that. You got to have one of those down here. It does have the mesh, so that it gets some airflow.
When's the last time you hopped on the old bike?
I don't know. It's a month. But I still have it in the garage.
Yep.
I still put the trickle charger on it to make sure the battery doesn't die from lack of use.
Wow. Yep. You got to crank it up and run it every now and then, or sell it, Bret. Sell it. No, we talked about this before. I won't get on a motorcycle just because two things. I'm not a seasoned rider, A, and B, I'm worried about someone blowing through a stop sign. And you are a seasoned rider, and B, an accident that's unavoidable is obviously that, but you could probably dodge half of the accidents that I would plow directly into.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, a lot of it's really about awareness and kind of a defensive mentality in traffic.
And plus, you know how to maneuver the bike.
Yeah.
Slow speeds, high speeds, whatever speeds. I'm going to tell you a great story, Bret. We're going to move on. You're going to love this story. Jason's going to pee in his pants. My buddy had like a Ninja or one of these bikes, in college. So I went on a ride, took it for a ride. And, I'm 5'7". And I'm probably like $160. Probably in college, I was probably like 150. So anyway, I'm like, tooling around. When you're on a motorcycle, you think everybody's looking at you, at least when you're a novice rider. You think you're the man. Right. So I'm tooling around all cool on this Ninja. And I pull up like, I guess now it's like, it's where the original Raising Cane's is. Back then it was like, I think that's Highland Road at West State, maybe. It used to be Death Valley Shell and Crow Peel, Texaco, and the Rama tie joint and Death Valley Shell. So anyway, I'm at that stoplight, and I put on the brake, and I go to put my left foot down. There's a pothole there. So my foot goes in the pothole in the bike. I lay the bike down sideways, okay? I'm 5'7", 170, 160, 150 back then. I can't physically pick the bike back up by myself. So the light turns green. The bike's on its side. I'm just like, hey, I'm 160 with the big egghead helmet on my head, probably wearing like cutoffs and a T-shirt. I'm trying to pick it up. I got behind it, Bret, where I'm squatting. So the bike's behind me. I tried it that way. Finally, some poor guy just puts his truck in park. I see him. He just jams the thing up in park. Just like this pathetic kid. Just gets out and helps me get the bike up, and I ride off, Bret. Embarrassed.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Isn't that brutal?
Yeah.
People were laughing at me, Bret.
I'm glad that's never happened to me.
Exactly. All right. You ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Moving past our motorcycle talk with Bret Martel, experienced writer with the AP for 25 years. Saints yesterday in the Dome for 3 quarters, man. That was old school, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type stuff, defensive minded. And then I guess what? The Ingram fumble, the brawl kind of changed the whole thing, Tampa's direction after that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, there's no tangible way. I mean, the fumble was obviously huge because the Saints really had a good drive going. They might have taken a 1 touchdown lead or at least a 3-point lead.
Yep.
The fumble occurs at the end of a 9-yard run, which would have been second down.
It was like the 8-yard line or something like that.
10. Yeah, he got to the 11 when he fumbled. It was recovered on the 10. So they would have had 2nd and 1 on the 11 if he doesn't fumble. Or he might have even fallen forward to the 10 for a first down, if he doesn't fumble. So, yeah, then you're looking at, a real good chance to score. First and goal from the 10 isn't guaranteed getting in the end zone, but it's like a 90% field goal. So, and that was a really big play. The fight, it wasn't tangible except that, Marshawn Lattimore was having a really good game. They did not have Paulson Adebo, which would have been one of their starting cornerbacks. And now you lose Marshawn Lattimore. And so you're down 2 starting cornerbacks. And on the next series, Tom Brady makes a perfect pass at the corner of the end zone. Perriman catches it, and you're down by a touchdown. So, even though it's hard for anyone who played in the game to point to like a tangible evidence that the fight and the suspensions was the turning point, the game really changed after that, and for whatever reason, and then the Saints got very impatient, I think, offensively, is what Dennis Allen was saying today. He thought that whether it's the play calling or the decisions that Jameis Winston made, a lack of patience in terms of taking what the defense was giving and trying to come back from that 1 touchdown deficit with most of the fourth quarter remaining. And before you know it, there's 1 interception, 2 interceptions, interception return for a touchdown, another fumble.
Yeah, no, you can't win.
Yeah.
Is there any team in NFL history that's had 5 turnovers that won the game? I'm sure it's happened. It just doesn't happen. That's a 99% chance. You have 5 turnovers, you're losing.
It depends on the kind of game. If the other team obviously has nearly as many turnovers.
I just don't think you've had a game like that where you've had, 8, 9 turnovers between 2 teams. I'm sure it's happened. Just what are we talking about? We're so rare. You can't win when you have 9 turnovers. Hey, Bret, the referees, look, a couple of things. First off, I think I'm like the oddball, I guess. I think referees do a fantastic job. There are thousands and thousands of calls. I don't even see half this crap that they see. They're obviously trained to see it. I think they do a really good job. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they make mistakes? Of course. Are they glaring with replay? Yes. Is it hurt really bad when it's, at the end of a game, it could be game deciding? Yeah. Well, everybody knows that story better than anyone in league history, maybe with Saints fans and what happened in the Dome a few years ago. This referee crew, Hockley or whatever, they call a lot of penalties. You know that. So if you're the coach of the team, you're telling the team that every team deals with them. These crews rotate. So the other team next week will have that crew and they'll be calling more penalties than another crew will. That's known. So a good coach, a good team, and I'm sure Allen pushed this with the Saints. I guarantee you he did. I bet it was discussed. So you realize that, A, and then B, were there a lot of bad calls or sensitive calls, like sort of, hey, let the guys play and quit penalizing for little tic-tac stuff? Yeah, there were, but I think Saints fans that are like bitter and bent about it, honestly, I think it was both sides of the ball. I think it was a fairly called game. If you want to say it was unfairly called, like each side got the equal number of unfair calls. Am I right on that? Or you think I'm wrong and the Saints got screwed by the refs?
No, the Tampa Bay might have gotten more unfair calls, but the reason that it feels like the officiating went against the Saints is because of the call against Roby. When it happened and the circumstance in which it happened. Instead of having 4th and 1 on the Tampa Bay side of the field, it's a personal foul on the first down on that
15 yards. Yeah.
On that missed tackle. And, and a lot of the Saints players are like, how can you call a personal foul for unnecessary roughness on a missed tackle? And the reason is, they're trying to coach these guys not to lead with their heads.
Yep.
And Roby went in a little bit out of control, a little reckless, and his helmet did hit the tight end's helmet. It was a glancing blow.
Yep.
The tight end continued through the missed tackle and didn't get and got tackled subsequently. But when
the tackle doesn't have to. The tackle doesn't have to take place for it to be leading with the head.
Right, and that's the problem. Is that So I think it was a really, really close call, and if people who are watching on TV, I think, can probably recall that the analyst even said, it's a tough call.
I just think, the NFL gets together, they collude, the refs get together. Let's, side with I think just,
Yeah, that's not what happened. It was just it's a really bad break for the Saints because it's a borderline call, but you can completely understand why they made it. You can also say that if Roby goes in lower and aims for the torso.
Yep.
With his shoulder, then that penalty never even happens. The referee doesn't even, there's no glancing blow of helmet off a face mask, and there's nothing to worry about. So, it was just tough. It extended the drive in which Brady threw the touchdown to Perriman and put the Saints down by a touchdown, and that really changed the complexion of the game. And, obviously the interception for a touchdown.
What about the brawl? Did the NFL handle it right by suspending Mike Evans a game?
Arguably. They could have suspended him for more since it was the second time he had done that.
Yep.
He wasn't involved in the initial jawing and shoving. He came in from the outside. He was on the field for that play, so it's not like he came off the sidelines, but he sprinted in from outside the little Brady, Lattimore and Fournette kind of gathering there. And with a running start, came in and more or less blindsided, not from the back, but just Marshawn's attention was elsewhere, and came in and flattened him. And it was kind of deja vu from 2017. It's weird that was 6 seasons ago, but it was the same building, the same two teams, same two players in the middle of it, and. So you could have given him more. You could have given, because it was the second time that it happened, you could have given Evans more. But at least the suspension acknowledges that, his actions were the most egregious.
Hey, Bret, you were at the Saints facility earlier today. What did Dennis Allen say about Jameis Winston and these 4 broken bones in his back?
So he said he didn't think it really affected his performance, and he never considered playing any other quarterback. And here's the thing about the reports, obviously we've talked about this. I'm married to a physician, and some other physicians as well who specialize in this felt like the report was in many ways useless because, there's a lot of different parts to the vertebrae, and some of them that are not really that close to the actual spinal cord. There can be hairline fractures on the peripheral parts of the vertebrae that are not necessarily that painful or debilitating. And so if the medical crew, obviously he was in pain, they took an image, they saw hairline fractures, they determined, like with many injuries, it's neither too painful nor too debilitating nor too dangerous to worry about whether he can play. So if he feels like he can play, and they let him play. They added some protection. And one of his incomplete passes went 60 yards in the air. One of the overthrows to Olave went 60 yards in the air. I noticed it. So, my wife Colleen was saying that unless really like what the fracture was, whether was it a hairline fracture and what part of the vertebrae it was on.
Right. They're not all the same. Yeah, exactly.
They're not the same.
Coupled with people being able to handle pain differently, being able to still maneuver and get around. Other people are more sensitive to it. And then they say it can't get any worse. There's no threat of any, problems with it. So I guess he's going to continue to play, but it's a good thing they do have you got the insurance policy with Andy Dalton.
I think it'll be more performance related than injury related, honestly. But at this point, we'll have to see. I mean, if he'll decide that maybe if Winston decides to acknowledge, the pain really is bothering me, and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it does hurt the team for me to try to play through this, then they can make a decision that way. But overall, that report was just a little bit vague in terms of how much it really did affect him, and arguably an injury to a joint people freak out when they hear about back pain, and so do I, because I've had back issues. But arguably, an injury to a typical joint could be more debilitating in terms of your physical ability to play football than what Winston had. Where he'd still be able to stand back there and throw it.
No. Someone said, what would you rather have, turf toe or broken bones in your back? Everyone would choose turf toe. Ask Penning. Right. He'd probably take the broken bones in his back, and he might be playing some left tackle right now. Turf toe's debilitating, can't even do anything. Bret Martel's with us from the Associated Press. Lebanon's Cafe's with you. They're open right now. They'll roll till 9:30 tonight. That means lamb chops and shish kebab with all your favorite Middle Eastern sides. Healthy, authentic, delicious, big portions, priced right. There's no downside. The finest Middle Eastern food in Metro New Orleans. Check them out tonight. Lebanon's Cafe by the Streetcar Barn, Carrollton at Jeanette. Tonight for dinner, Lebanon's Cafe, open till 9:30. Bret Martel's been with the Associated Press for 25 years. He joins us for another Martel Monday. Hey, Bret, the last time Tulane was 3-0 was 25 years ago. You might have been covering your first gig down here, and the Wave was 3-0. The last time, 1998, 25 years. The Wave is 3-0. I saw some Sports Illustrated guy, super early bowl selections. He's got Tulane in the Cotton Bowl right now on New Year's Day. I was like, wow. But, it's super early bowl predictions. He even said as much. But pretty cool. A great win on the road. First Power 5 victory for Willie Fritz and the Wave. Nice.
Yeah, I remember you asking me about this game last week, and I said, I wouldn't expect them to win, but, it would be a really good win if they pulled it off. It sounded to me, now I was at LSU, I covered the game against Mississippi State, but it sounded to me from listening on the radio and so forth and reading about the game afterwards that Kansas State choked a little bit.
Well, they're looking forward to Oklahoma next week, too.
Yeah,
I thought Tulane was going to be a little speed bump.
They might have, they failed in a bunch of fourth downs and so forth. But, look, that's a really tough environment. So 98 was the year before I moved here. My first football season was 99, and they were coming off that undefeated season.
Yeah, they went 7-4, I think, that year. That was what, first year of Selfo?
Right, that's right.
I'll never forget going down for the Rich Rodriguez new coach press conference.
Yeah.
And Rich Rodriguez is out by these temporary trailers, pissed off. And he's in a suit and tie. And I'm like, what's up, coach? And he just kind of looked at me and smirked. And he's like, I didn't get the job or whatever. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, who got the job? And I don't know if he told me Selfo or he was really mad. I guess it was it Sandy Barber was the AD back then?
Yeah, I don't really remember.
Yeah, and I think I remember Rich Rodriguez just pissed off and literally like it's kind of a last second thing. I don't know how it went down. I forget, but Tulane, instead of going with Rich Rodriguez, they went with Chris Selfo. It might have been because Rodriguez was so hot at the time that they're like, we'll have this coach for 2 years and he'll leave like Bowden did. We're just doing the same thing. Selfo, Louisiana guy, maybe he's loyal. He's from New Iberia, so I don't know what they were thinking, but
I think that's what they were thinking, but it's a huge mistake because you want your program, you want up and coming coaches to associate your program with up and coming coaches so that they can go there and feel like they can win and get a big job somewhere else.
Well, then he goes to West Virginia or something, and then he was probably going to be the Alabama coach, but I forgot.
Well, then he went to Michigan.
Yeah, or Arizona or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway.
No, he went to West Virginia. He did well. I think he went to Michigan. He flamed out.
Yeah, but then went to Arizona or Arizona State or something. I don't know.
But good.
Anyway, Tulane's playing great. They get a Power 5 win. They do it on the road against K-State. Just a lot of excitement, and they got a game. This weekend at Yeoman? Who are they playing? I'm trying to.
Yeah, Saturday night at home against Southern Miss.
Yeah, Southern Miss, exactly. I mean, there's going to be people from Hattiesburg coming in for that are going to enjoy the city. Easy trip in. Should be a good crowd at Yeoman.
Yep.
Yeah,
could be the best crowd they've had in years, and they need to show up because there's just nothing worse and it happens. Look, I mean, it almost happened to Appalachian State where they had an enormous win, right? Against Texas A&M, and then they come home to play Troy, which is a team in their conference.
They have to win last second play, huh?
They had to win on a Hail Mary. I mean, they almost lost. It was almost like the hangover effect. So Tulane needs to avoid the hangover effect. They need to make it worth everyone's while who shows up for that game, at least in terms of their own fans coming. And if they improve to 4-0, I mean, it starts to become a story now. They haven't really gone into their conference schedule yet, but now you're thinking this is a team that maybe can win their conference and get a nice bowl bid, and maybe the best bowl bid they've had since the Liberty Bowl.
Yep. Bret Martel's with us with the Associated Press. Breaking news: a gun fired inside of a school bus in Harvey. A juvenile admits bringing the gun to the Jefferson Parish school bus after it went off Monday morning. Wow. Unbelievable. That's a breaking story in Harvey on the Best Bank. Bret Martel's with us from the Associated Press. Every day, this program on radio, television, YouTube, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Lamarck Ford, Lamarck Lincoln on the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10 in Kennebra. Right on the corner, right on the price. And now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood, in Harahan, Jefferson Highway. So Ronnie's got you covered with the big store for nearly 50 years at the Lamarck Automotive Complex out by the lake. And he's got you covered on the other side of the parish by the river with Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Every day, this program on radio, television, YouTube, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford. LSU, Matt House's defense, what a great win over Mississippi State. That was a dogfight for a while, and LSU was down 13 in that game, Brett. They get a score right before the half to keep it close, and then they win going away. What a difference. You've got a disciplinarian-type coach, a coach with a definitive plan, a coach that is stable and consistent, keeps the emotion in check, very logical. Obviously, the process and doing it day in, day out, and not altering it. It's exactly what the doctor ordered, Brett. I don't know if he's the long-term answer or not. I hope he is. But coming out of the Orgeron era, that emotional era. And what I mean is Orgeron coaching from an emotional, like what my gut thinks instead of his brain a lot. Kelly's exactly what the doctor ordered, kind of honing in this program.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, he's definitely very process oriented. He's very committed to what he's done and what he's always done. Yeah, has a very good reputation of winning everywhere he's gone. So, I mean, we'll have to see, how he works out at LSU still. It's still very early, but it's a very promising sign that in his first SEC game, in a game where the other team is favored, albeit by 2.5 points, that LSU responds well to being down 13-0 in the first half, and not only comes back to win, but comes back to win going away. And, by the end of that game, Mississippi State was gassed, and it wasn't close. And it was a really good first conference win for them. They played really well against this air raid offense that lit up Arizona at Arizona the week before. Now, Arizona may be a bad Pac-12 team, but it's still a Pac-12. They're still recruiting Pac-12 players. So, I think their running game, probably in terms of the running backs, needs some work. Their running statistics are pretty good because Jaden Daniels was able to scramble for 90 to 100 yards a game, right?
Yep.
But the running backs aren't doing a lot, and they really hadn't done too much. But then you saw, again, how they had worn down Mississippi State, the 7-yard power run by Williams for the first rushing touchdown. And then, of course, Armani Goodwin just completely breaks loose for the 47-yard touchdown late that I think made the final score. And so, they they played really well. They not only had 4 sacks of Will Rogers, but he was getting hit as he threw all the time, and his footwork and accuracy looked like it was really suffering more and more the longer the game went on.
And Kelly's doing it with a lot of, freshmen and no-name players, transfers. It's pretty amazing. They're buying in. They're disciplined. A bunch of no-name players starting to make plays. It's pretty amazing what Kelly's done with LSU. I mean, 2 freshmen starting at the tackles, Bret. Left and right tackle on the O-line, true freshman starters, a third different O-line, different players shifting around for the 3rd straight game. One thing that's pretty good, I think, the schedule. The Southern game last week, I think, helped a lot. I think New Mexico's coming at a perfect time. This team needs practice and continuity and playing together as a team and experience. So, just what the doctor ordered, getting out of the blocks 1-0 in SEC play, and then having New Mexico this weekend. I don't want to say exhibition tune-up. Ask K-State about that. But I think another game for LSU to kind of hone it all in, ideally get to 3-1 and jump back into a big SEC run.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, Corey. I just had to make sure the door I wasn't getting locked out of Sam's facility here. I have some work to finish, but yeah, it's a very promising season, I think, for college football fans in New Orleans and in Baton Rouge right now.
Kelly said as much. He said this team down the road potentially could be pretty good. He's liking what he's seeing, Bret. That's pretty, that's some positive stuff, especially from a team that has, I would say, half the amount of talent that it normally has on its roster. And I'm talking like for 20 years straight, this whole century, the last 2 decades, probably half as much sheer high-end talent as a normal LSU team. And Kelly's bringing in players we've never seen, and they're getting the job done. They're believing in the coaching and the scheme.
Well, they really they didn't play well in their opener, but they did come within obviously a missed extra point of tying that game. And so they could almost be 3-0 right now.
Yep.
And that, that sounds a lot better than 2-1, but they're really not that far off from 3-0. And so, yeah, I mean, New Mexico they have this week. It's a team they should steamroll, and I believe they will based on how they've been playing. And then you go back into the SEC schedule, I believe, at Auburn the following week.
Someone at State needs to buy Mike Leach a brush or a comb for starters. Second, that speaking about emotional coaches, I'm not going to say he's as emotional as Ogeron, and he's more organized, obviously, but Leach going for it on those 4th downs over and over again. Besides low percentage, Bret, it shows no respect. I think that fired up, Matt House and the LSU defense. They were, I guarantee you, House and those coaches use that as fodder. They're like, they don't respect you. They're going on 4th, they're not even punting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they felt like some of that's analytics, and if it's 4th and within a certain distance, or depending on the field position, where
they went for it like on their own 25 on that first touchdown drive that worked for them, but then the next few, I think they were 0 for 3 on the next 3.
Yeah, they got stopped 3 times on 4th down that I can think of, twice on runs and 1 on passes. Now, but those other 3 actually were much more reasonable, and one of them. Yeah, I know at least 1 or 2 of them was on LSU side of the field.
I just think, Bret, you gotta. I mean, look, I'm not saying don't use your gut, but you gotta go with the percentages and over. I think just you're going against the percentages and you're disrespecting the opponent. Hey, you're at Saints camp right now. What should we expect your next column to be about? What are you writing about?
Well, every Monday, I come to the availabilities here if I can. And, sometimes I go to Baton Rouge and LSU on Mondays. It just really depends on what's more newsy that day. But, every day after game for the Saints, we do what's called an analysis piece. And it's the same format. We do them for every team in the league. And so that's what'll be coming out here in a little while.
Where can folks check out your latest, Bret?
At the apnews.com or the AP News app on a smartphone, which is free.
Perfect. Bret, we'll check you out next week, man. Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Good to be on the show.
That's Bret Martel from the Associated Press joining us. Another Martel Monday. Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now? What a perfect wind down place on a Monday. Katie's in Mid-City. Go get some red beans and rice. Go get some New Orleans specialties, old school. Katie's in Mid-City. And don't forget about the Katie's of Harahan. Have you been to Bienvenue? Bringing a little Mid-City Katie's flavor to Hickory Avenue, right in the curve. You folks in Harahan, Elmwood, Old Jefferson, River Ridge, the Katie's of Harahan is Bienvenue. Yeah, and don't forget about legendary Katie's in Mid-City.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Yeah, you right. What a wonderful Meters song. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday. You beelining home? I bet from your trip from work home, you'll pass a couple of Rouse's, maybe 3. There are Rouse's locations all over Louisiana. 65 Rouse's stores at the latest count, maybe more. That's what I got it at, 65, including north of 20 in Metro New Orleans. It truly is New Orleans grocery store. There's a Rouse's in your neighborhood or near your neighborhood. Rouse's Markets, best quality, best price, best selection. Rouse's Markets, tastes like home. A Monday afternoon edition of the program. Summertime heat out there, still like 90 degrees, still like feels like over 100. Yeah, agua up, water up. Hot out there. Insane. Like, it's September 18th. Feels like July 18th today. But we're just a few weeks away from this going bye-bye. Will Smith's killer, Cardell Hayes, is out of jail. His trial is set for next year. He is restricted to home confinement at his mother's house. He was released, walked straight to an SUV that his mother was driving, got in, and went home. No speaking with the media. The 10-2 verdict, all that's thrown out. Louisiana and Oregon were the only states in the country that didn't require a unanimous verdict. And the Supreme Court ruled that you have to have a unanimous verdict. So that trial will go down next year's Cardell Hayes out of jail. What's that, Blue Boy? Fury's Restaurant in Metairie open 09. Get gumbo or turtle soup to start. Definitely get the onion rings and then choose between like flounder, snapper, or speckled trout. Blue Boy, you're right on the money. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie is so good, and they're open 09. 93.9 FM New Orleans. See you mañana.